Alrighty. Um, so we're back on it again. We're gaming once again. Doing wholesale, or sorry, that's the other one. Hassett et al. The monkey toy preference. Hassett, which is monkey toy preference. Alrighty. So let's talk about the psychology being investigated in this study. I have quite a lot here, which go over briefly. So the idea of play, all animals play, including humans, but the concept is hard to define due to the many different types of play seen at different developmental levels. Play is always voluntary. We choose what we wish to play with, how and with whom. The choose what we wish to play with is going to be important here. Many psychologists, wow, what am I saying? Agree that play allows the individual to practice the skills required in adulthood, and this is true of both humans and animals. So play may be adaptive, it helps us survive. Sex differences and the role of nature. In mammals, biological sex is determined by our sex chromosomes. I think the woke mind virus would disagree lightly with this statement. Typically XX for females and XY for males, although many differences can occur. Typically, these chromosomes determine the level of hormones, such as testosterone and estrogen. Blah blah. Anyone visiting a kindergarten or nursery might see boys playing with cars and girls playing with dolls. But psychological research has demonstrated that girls are more likely to play with trucks than boys are to play with dolls. These behavioral sex differences are fairly robust. And Hassett et al. Tries to explore the idea that these differences may be hormonal in origin. This said, their views conflict with many psychologists who believe gender roles are primarily learned through socialization. So, is toy preference biological, hormonal, or is it social socialization? Gender roles. Okay. So is toy preference biological or slash hormonal, or is it due to socialization and gender roles? That is the question. Hormones and toy preferences. Hassett et al. Reject the socialization explanation for toy preferences. They believe male and female children prefer toys that can be used for activities that suit their specific cognitive abilities. Abilities, as stated above, depend on the children's different sex hormone levels. Meaning the toys are selected according to the different play activities they promote, rather than the society's attitude regarding gender-appropriate toys. Yeah. Okay. 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 So what I wrote down here, Hassett et al. Believe it is hormonal preference towards toys which fit the child's innate cognitive abilities, and of course the innate cognitive abilities and the difference of those in between different kids is due to hormones, different levels of different hormones, right? Background. Okay, whatever. Previous research on monkeys, whatever, it's fine. So just real quick here, just to get an idea, we'll look over it first. We have our aims, 2 different aims, research methodology, design and variable sample, our procedure, some different things, results, we have a table. Female monkeys show no consistent preference. Male monkeys prefer to wield toys. Duration of interactions, we have a little graph here. And social rank and toy preference. And then we have our conclusion. Just to try to wrap our heads around what we're about to read, and to help with that, we'll also read the brief of it, the kind of abstract. So, Hassett et al. Examined toy preferences in a troop of captive rhesus monkeys. However, instead of observing the monkeys with just one toy at a time, they presented pairs of wheeled and plush toys, allowing observers to note the sex of any monkeys that interacted with the toys and which toys they preferred when given a choice. They observed significant sex differences matching those seen in humans and concluded that these differences stemmed from prenatal hormone exposure. Alright, so now we have an idea of what we're going to read, and now we will go over it. So, aims. 1. Test if sex differences in children's toy preferences result from biological factors. Children gifts in children's toy prefs result from biofactors. Lots of shortened words. Then we have 2. Investigate if male and female rhesus monkeys have similar toy preferences to human infants despite no socialization experience with human toys. Beautiful. This is a good study. I like this one. Alright. Investigative. Blah, 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 blah. We'll go over it at the end. Research methodology. Methamphetamines. I'm so edgy. I know what drugs are. Okay, sorry. Okay. Hassett et al. Is an experiment as the researchers were looking for a causal relationship between the causal relationship between the monkey's sex and their toy preferences. The monkeys were observed in their normal enclosure. Observed in normal enclosure. A natural environment for them. Natural environment. Which might sound contradictory to what you'd believe, but they had all been living there for 25 years. Wow, I can't type today. Controlled environment. Monkeys kept indoors during experiment setup. Data. Wow, I can't type at all. Oh my god. Collected via observation of video recordings. It's always so funny to me how sometimes they won't write this and other times they will write this. Like, it's just so weird. It's like they just forgot what they wrote in the other experiments. I don't get it. Design was independent measures. Independent measures. Comparison of two different groups. Male, female. Sex was a naturally occurring independent variable. Determined via appearance of sex organs. We need to be doing more of that these days, honestly. Instead of asking people. Dependent variable was whether the monkeys interacting more with the testosteroids or real toys. Okay. Whether monkeys interacted more with plush versus wheeled toys was the TV. Yeah. Social rank and age recorded when they played with a toy. The toys. Social rank had already been determined by observing grouping behavior. The monkey doing the grouping is always subordinate. And the monkey being grouped. Sample. The sample was a troop of 135 monkeys at the Yerkes National Primate Research Center Field Station. Jesus Christ. The troop included both infant and adult monkeys. Infant, aka juvenile. 14 of the monkeys had previously participated in research on prenatal hormones, so they were not included in the current study. 39 babies were not included, as it was very hard to tell them apart, making it difficult to know which sex they were. Of the remaining monkeys, 61 females and 21 males. 34 interacted with the toys on more than 5 occasions. 23 females and 11 males, and were included in the analysis. Sample of rhesus monkeys. You know what's crazy is there is actually a real ass exam question that has been asked to a year of horribly mistreated and unlucky suffering students who had to get the question of what type of monkey was used in the study. And the answer is rhesus. What a joke of a fucking curriculum, bro. Like, yeah, this is important to learning psychology. Remembering random arbitrary bullshit. Okay, sorry, let's continue. I just really don't like Cambridge. Cool. Analysis, sorry, not the study. Other ones were used in the study, but only this many were used in the analysis. Okay. Okay, now we're on to the procedure. So, for the procedure, 7 25-minute observations were completed in the outdoor area of the monkey enclosure at the research center. Now, knowing these numbers is actually important. We need to know the exact numbers because, of course, that's what psychology is about, guys. It's about remembering random numbers. Random numbers in a study. It's not about remembering the concepts used in the study or understanding the study. It's about remembering random stats from it, which aren't even about the results. What a fucking joke, bro. Okay, 7. Probably like this, it's easier to read. 7 25-minute observations completed. Outdoor area with toys. For each observation, we're just gonna write OBB, BBS. For each observation, toys were placed, or pair of toys placed in the area. Wow. Plated indoors. Pair of toys. One wheeled. One plush. Toys placed 10 meters apart. Positions counterbalanced. You know what counterbalance means? Raise your hand. Yes, John. Counterbalance means that like for one of the 7 observations, they put the wheel toy on the right and the plush toy on the left, and then in the second 7-minute observation, maybe they did it the other way around, and they did it like that over and over again. Yes, John, you're correct. W. Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan. I'm going insane. Okay, positions were counterbalanced. This ruled out the possibility that the monkeys preferred a certain area of the enclosure rather than generally preferring. Yeah. Rules out area. Over. The toys varied in size, shape, and color. Toys varied in size, shape, and color. Chosen based on function, not traditional sex or gender. Wheeled toys. 7 plush toys. Oh, okay. Video. Whoa, all caps. What's up? Whoa. Video cam focused on each toy. All interactions recorded. Two observers watched the vids. Used behavioral checklist. To categorize each interaction. Start and finish times plus and better duration of each interaction recorded. Oh, look at this. We're bringing the big guns. It's a colon. Oh my god. And we indented the list. Oh my god. We're crazy out here. Checklist included. Extended touch. Holding. Sitting on. Carrying. Manipulating. Brief touch. Sniffing. I don't know what mouthing means, but that's the thing. Destroying. Destroying. Jumping away. Throwing. There's a bajillion things here, but I'm just typing them all out so that you can at least remember some of them. Because the more you remember, the better chance you'll be able to answer their dumbass questions about this shit. Ambiguous, unclear behavior. Yeah, okay, yeah. Who the fuck doesn't know what ambiguous means in fucking AS levels, bro? Like, you just need to be shot. Ambiguous behaviors were discussed until the observers agreed on how to code the interaction. For each interaction, the observers also recorded the monkey's age, rank, and sex. Didn't they already say that? Am I stupid? Oh, yeah. Good. We'll add it up here. Okay. Ambiguous behaviors discussed until conclusive decision made. And now we have the results. Oh yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Average frequencies and durations calculated for each behavior. With less than 5 interactions. Next, the researchers calculated the total number and total duration of interactions with each plush toy type. Total interactions and durations of each behavior. Most monkeys did not interact at all. The monkeys preferred wheeled toys. Very nice. Mean frequency. .77 versus mean male plush frequency equaling only 2 points mean something, right? 2.06. Played with plush toys less than females. Further analysis. 73, was it? 73%? Males preferred field. Ref not affected by age or rank. Female monkeys showed no consistent preference. Some pref showed for plush. If not significant. Also, no significant difference between the males and females in terms of frequency of wheeled toy play. Only 30% of females prefer the plush toys, 39% prefer the wheel toys, and 30% show no significant preference for either toy. Females with no preference rank significantly lower in the social hierarchy. Oh my god, so many things. Fuck me. Jesus. Okay, there was also no significant difference between the males and females in terms of frequency of wheel toy play. So there's basically a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio of female preference split between plush toys, wheeled toys, and no play at all. Or sorry, no preference at all. Let's get a few little extra spaces in here, or enters. Okay, females with no preference rank significantly lower in the social hierarchy. No pref ranked significantly lower. Significantly lower. There was no significant difference in rank between females who preferred wheeled versus plush toys. No significant difference in rank between females who preferred wheeled versus plush toys. My god, I can't read or something. What's going on? My brain's like completely distracted. No significant difference in rank between females who preferred plush for wheeled versus plush toys. Okay. Okay, duration of interact. Jesus, bro. Holy fuck. Durations. Females play with wheeled toys, they do not play them for as long as the males. Male wheeled duration longer than. Female plush duration longer than male. Males played significantly longer with wheeled than plush toys, but the standard deviation for the duration of wheeled toy play was relatively large compared to females. I'm too lazy to include that. This suggests that some of the males... the females show even greater individual differences with regard to time spent engaging in plush play. Some individuals play longer with these toys, others play with them more briefly. Overall, there is no significant difference in time spent interacting with either plush or wheeled toys for the female monkeys. No significant duration diff between toy types in social rank. When the data from both sexes was combined, there was significant positive correlation between social rank and frequency of interaction. High-ranking monkeys interact with more with the toys. Interestingly, when the data from females was examined more closely, we found that the higher the rank, the more time females spent integrating plush toys. Is not true for real toys. Okay. Higher rank equals increased frequency of interaction with both. Wow. Not looking good for my typing skills today. Types higher female, rank equaled increased. Wow, increased duration for plush. Okay, now we're on to conclusions. Very nice. Conclusions. Or just conclusion, we'll write. Conclusion. Based on their observations and comparisons with human infants, Hassett et al. Concluded that sex-type toy preferences in humans may result from biological sex differences. As their observations suggest, the rhesus monkeys show similar preferences to human infants, even without clear gender differences in socialization. They concluded that human toy preferences, as with the monkeys, reflect hormonally influenced behavior and cognitive biases, which interact with learning experiences within the social environment. The observations. Concluded that sex-type toy preferences results from, or may result from. Why they gotta be so pussy about it? Like, just say it how it is, bro. From biological sex differences. Concluded since rhesus monkeys showed sex with preferences, showed similar sex-based preferences to human infants, even without the social vision. Realization. Concluded that human boy prefs reflect hormonal behavior and cog biases which interact with learning experiences in the social environment. This is a long one, holy moly. Okay. And now we go to evaluation. Okay, so I'm hungry. I'll probably eat after this. Yummy, yummy food, yummy, yummy food. Whoa, what happened? I don't know. Ethics. Strength. Ethical guidelines. Is that how you spell guide? Am I stupid? No, okay, it is. Ethical guidelines for primates were followed. Animal care / use Committee. How the fuck do you spell committee? Okay, committee. The center housed and treated as usual. Procedure didn't change. Monkeys were used to eat researchers. Math. Strength. Carefully operationalized behavioral Jesus Christ checklist. Okay. Sorry, I have brain damage. Okay. For example, okay, yeah. For example, as well as the behavior itself, gives a description. Yeah. Behaviors described. Behaviors were described. List is clear. About how to analyze behaviors. Increases reliability. Okay, we'll just do this. Sorry, I have brain damage. Increases the reliability. I'm getting a text on my phone. I'm gonna check. John Bellion is playing on my phone. Just skip ahead, okay? Skip ahead like 40 seconds. Okay, sorry, a little bit longer than 40 seconds. My bad. Okay, I'm done. Wait, am I done? Wait. Okay. Okay, increases reliability. Are sure of what counts, whatever. Sure. Weakness. We found a weakness. We found a weakness. Reliable. 1 out of the 7 trials was terminated. Due to toy flush ripped to shreds. Only 18 of observation. Reduces reliability of results. Validity. Strength. Valid. 7 observation trials. Diff trials. Eliminate possibility of a specific toy class toy great being referenced. Ensures validity of conclusion that males are toys. Another strength. Use of video cameras. Other than humans. Yeah. Monkeys were used to the cameras, meaning their behavior should not have been affected by them. Whereas the presence of a human observer may have affected the spontaneity of their interaction/play. Monkeys may have played less if they were stressed by humans being in the enclosure. Alternatively, they may have played more in the hope of receiving a reward, such as the camera's increased validity. Monkeys were used to the cams. Humans may have affected monkey behavior, increases validity of the recorded subjectivity. Jesus, there's so much, man. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. We can do it. Use of quantitative data. Use of quantitative data. Duration, frequency, etc. Objective data. Avoids subjective interpretations. Searcher bias. Okay, nice, very good. Yeah. Jesus. Okay, we have a potential weakness, which was potential observer bias. Observer bias. Researchers who analyze videotapes were both very familiar and well acquainted with monkeys. Researchers who analyzed the data or the recordings were very familiar with the monkeys. They knew the genders of the genders, which may have skewed their interpretation of behaviors. Generalizations. Generalizations. Weakness. To generalize beyond sample due to low. Only low number of adult males. Only the juvenile and sub-adult monkeys interacted. Results generalized with those groups and be to adults. Their weakness. Conducted on captive monkeys. Show greater interest. Oh my god, interest in objects compared to wild monkeys. Produces ecological validity. Unclear. It looks like I was about to type cunt. Unclear if wild Holy moly. We're almost done. Just 2 issues and debates. And we're done, then we just go over it, which will only take like probably 5 minutes to go over this. And boom, we did it. The bots. Okay. Nature versus nurture. Supports nature. As based reference between toys was found despite lack of socialization, which would be nurture based. Finding that supports the role of nurture in toy preferences is that interactions were also affected by social rank. Social rank. In play duration / frequency does suggest a factor. However, social rank affected by testosterone levels. It partly. Okay, and applications to everyday life. App to everyday life. Oh, where's my thing? After everyday life. Choosing toys for kids. Suggests that innate gender gifts make children come to gift toys. Suggests that suggests that toy play can shape future talents. Therefore, development of skills can be controlled by humans. Okay, the end. Alrighty, let's. This is a fucking humongous one. Holy schmoly. Alright, so. Oh, I set at all monkey toy preferences. So the main idea here is toy preference biological or hormonal? Is it biological and hormonal, or is it due to socialization and gender roles in terms of human babies and stuff, right? Human kids. Hassett et al. Believe that it is hormonal, and the preference towards toys which fit the child's or sorry, Jesus Christ, believe it's hormonal, and that a child's preference towards a specific toy fits the child's innate cognitive abilities, which are different between sexes due to their different levels of hormones. So the aims, we have two. One is to test if that differences in in children's toy preferences result from biological factors, and the second one to investigate if male/female rhesus monkeys show the same toy preferences as humans despite no socialization with human toys being present. If so, it would prove that toy preference is gender based and not society socialization gender role based. So methodology, they were observed in their normal enclosure. It was a natural environment. They had all been living there for 25 years. Controlled environment. The monkeys were kept indoors during the experiment setup, and the data was collected via observation of video recordings. The design and the variables. The design was independent measures. The two different groups were compared, male versus female. The sex was the naturally occurring independent variable, which was determined via the appearance of the sex organs, and whether the monkeys interacted more with plush versus wheeled toys was the dependent variable. During interaction, the social rank and age and sex were recorded when they played with the toys, and the social rank was determined beforehand via observation of the monkeys' grooming behaviors. Sample was from a primate research field station, 135 rhesus monkeys, a troop of 135 rhesus monkeys, adult and juvenile monkeys. However, only 34 of these monkeys interacted with the toys more than 5 times, which was 21 females and 11 males. And so that 34 total monkeys were used in the analysis, and the other ones were left out. Then the procedure. 7 25-minute observations were completed in the outdoor area with toys. Before each observation, pairs of toys, or a pair of toys, one wheeled and one plush, was placed in the area while the monkeys waited indoors. And between these different 7 25-minute observations, the type of toy was, changed. Like not necessarily the type, like they were all still wheeled or plush, but like not the exact same wheeled toy or not the exact same plush toy. Different colors, different sizes, different shapes. The toys were placed 10 meters apart, and the positions were counterbalanced with it being half, left or right between, what's it called? Between plush and wheeled over the course of the 7. And this rules out the area preference over toy preference, right? The toys varied in size, shape, and color. They were chosen based on function, not traditional gender roles, and there were 6 wheeled toys and 7 plush toys. Chosen based on function, as if they have moving wheeled parts or if they're, plush toys, sort of thing. The video cam was focused on each toy. Or there was a video camera focused on each toy. And all interactions were recorded. 2 observers watched the videos and used behavioral checklists to categorize each interaction. The start and finish times and the duration of each interaction were also recorded. And also the frequencies, the frequency of each thing was reported as well. Or it was calculated at the end, actually. So the checklist included lots of things. For example, extended touch, holding, sitting on, carrying, manipulating, brief touch, sniffing, mouthing, destroying, jumping away, and throwing. Ambiguous behaviors were discussed until a conclusive decision was made between the 2 observers. The results. Average frequencies and durations were calculated for each behavior. Monkeys with less than 5 interactions were ignored. Total interactions and durations of each behavior were also measured or calculated, and but however, most monkeys did not interact at all. I'm surprised that's actually one space. Male monkeys preferred wheeled toys. The mean male frequency, which was 9.77, versus the mean male plush frequency was 2.06. So the frequency that males interacted with wheeled toys was much higher than the frequency that they interacted with plush toys. They played with plush toys less than females as well. A further analysis showed that 73% of males preferred wheeled toys, and their preference was not affected by age or rank, unlike the females. The female monkeys showed no consistent preference, although there was some preference for plush toys, but the difference was not very significant. There was no difference in wheeled frequency in the wheeled frequency between male and female monkeys. There was a 1 to 1 to 1 ratio. Female preference split between plush, wheeled, and no preference. No preference females ranked significantly lower, and but there was no rank difference between preference. The durations. Male wheeled duration was longer than female. Female plush duration was longer than male, but there was no significant difference between toy types in females. Social rank. Higher rank equaled increased frequency of interaction with both toy types, and specifically for higher female rank, increased the duration for plush but not wheeled. Conclusion. Based on the observations, it can be concluded that sex-typed toy preference may result from biological sex differences. It can be concluded that since rhesus monkeys showed similar sex this is concluded. The fact that it's concluded that sex type toy preference may result from biological sex differences. This is concluded since this is better. This is concluded since rhesus monkeys showed similar sex-based preferences to human infants even without the socialization. It was also concluded that human toy preferences reflect hormonal behavior and cognitive biases, which interact with learning experiences in the social environment. Evaluation. Ethics. Ethics were strong. The ethical guidelines for primates were followed. An animal care/use committee regulated the monkey or primate center or whatever. The monkeys were housed and treated as usual, and the procedure didn't change anything significant in their environment or care. They were, fed and given water as usual, and the monkeys were used to the researchers being around them. The methodology. We have a strength, which is that it was reliable, or increases the reliability of the study, which was the carefully operationalized behavioral checklist. The behaviors were described on the checklist. The list is clear about how to analyze the behaviors, which increases the reliability since the researchers were both sure of what counts as a behavior, what doesn't. Weakness, though, which makes it unreliable, was that 1 out of the 7 trials was terminated early due to the plush being ripped to shreds by one of the monkeys, and that provided them with only 18 minutes of observation rather than 25, which reduces the reliability of the results because we cannot know what would have happened in the next 7 minutes. Validity. In terms of validity, we have a strength, which increases the validity. They use 7 observational trials separate from each other. These different trials were used with different toys, and that eliminates the possibility of a specific toy or toy trait like color or something like that being preferred over the others, instead of the fact that it has wheels being preferred over the others. This ensures the validity of the conclusion that males are drawn to wheeled toys. Another strength which increases the validity was the use of video cameras rather than human observation. The monkeys were used to the cameras, versus if we used humans to observe them instead, that may have affected the monkey's behavior, and this increases the validity of the data recorded. Now on to objectivity and subjectivity. Strength was the use of quantitative data, the duration, frequency, etc. This is objective data. It avoids subjective interpretations and researcher bias. But a weakness, though, was the potential observer bias, as the researchers who analyzed the recordings were very familiar with the monkeys, and they likely knew the genders of a few of the monkeys just from looking, which may have skewed their interpretation of behaviors, and this may have increased subjectivity. Finally, generalizations. 2 weaknesses. One is that it's hard to generalize beyond the sample due to the low number of adult males. Only the juvenile and sub-adult monkeys interacted with the toys, and this means the results can only be generalized to those groups and can't be generalized to adult males. Another weakness is that the study was conducted on captive monkeys. Captive monkeys show greater interest in objects compared to wild monkeys because they don't have to be afraid of danger or anything like that. They're always going to have food to eat, whatever. And this reduces the ecological validity because it's unclear if wild monkeys would end up acting in the same way. Issues/debates: nature versus nurture. We're almost there. Mostly the study supports nature as gender-based preference between toys was found despite the lack of socialization, which would be nurture. The role of female social rank in play duration and frequency does suggest a nurture-based factor. However, female social rank is also affected by testosterone levels, which makes it partly nature-based. Application to everyday life, we could use this to choose toys for kids. Since the findings suggest that innate gender difference make children drawn to different toys and that toy play can shape future talents, we can draw the conclusion that the development of skills can maybe be controlled by a parent's choice of toys to give to the kids. The end. That was Hassett et al. Monkey toy preference. Rhesus monkeys. Thank you very much for watching.